All right, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tyler Gates. I'm here. It's draft day. We have a bunch of stuff to get down into, but uh, first and foremost, I want to introduce a very special guest of mine, a very dear friend of mine who is I like to call him the voice of Pittsburgh sports because I don't really know many people in Pittsburgh that talk sports, especially like him. If you have not already, subscribe. So please subscribe to their We Are Family Pittsburgh Sports Podcast. It is amazing. It is amazing. I've had the chance to sit down and watch some episodes myself. So you guys are
We
doing
gotta
a great
have
job.
you on, man.
Hey,
Pretty
you gotta
soon
have me
here.
on. Definitely. His nickname is Pirate Peyton. You need to watch in order to learn what that means. But Peyton Celesti, everybody, this is an amazing opportunity, not only for me, but for him and for both of us to sit here and talk about any final predictions that we have for today's draft. As you may know, we already know who's going first. That's Fernando Mendoza. Nothing else to say more there. They say that the draft starts at 2. Now, I don't really have much to say when it comes to the Jets. The Jets are going to do something crazy. I don't think that they are going to necessarily draft David Bailey, even though I don't think they should. I think they should go Arvell Reese. He's more of a finished product, more of a. I don't want to say Micah Parsons, but I'll say Will Anderson. I'll say Will Anderson.
Wow,
So
like, if you can get Will Anderson at number 2, that's
that's what I'm thinking. That's my thinking. I don't know what your mock draft is, but what do you think the Jets should do at 2?
They certainly shouldn't draft Jeremiah Love. I don't think you should draft Jeremiah Love in the top 5. You have Breece Hall, so but there's some teams that are like in the top 5. We should take Jeremiah Love. I'm like, when you're in the top 5, it's because you don't have a lot of depth at your offensive line, your defensive line, your defensive backs, right? You need to attack those, and you need to attack those positions. So I would not take a running back in the top 5. And I really like Jeremiah Love, but they got to go edge. Those two guys, either Reese or Bailey, those are the top 2 edge guys in the draft, in a deep edge draft. But those guys are going to be superstars. And I don't know a whole lot about David Bailey, but Arvell Reese. I mean, if you're getting a defensive player in this draft from Ohio State, you're getting a good player. I mean,
Absolutely.
That Ohio State defense last year was like an NFL defense. I mean,
no
and you had Matt Patricia running it, who's been in the league a long time. Like, so they were playing in a pro style defense, learning from, a professional like Matt Patricia. Like, you can't go wrong. And the depth of this draft is really insane, because when you see guys like Caleb Downs from Ohio State, who I think could be a top 5 talent in this draft.
Yeah.
Being mocked at 10, 11, 12, like, that's an insane value.
No, you're right. Especially like what they did this offseason. When you think about the Jets offseason, even prior to that, the trade deadline, trading away Sauce and Quentin Williams, kind of resetting that organization, but really looking at the defense. Joseph Osai, among others, that they really brought in. David Onyemata, I think they brought in as well. So I think they're really going to tailor towards defense. And speaking of defense, you can't spell defense without spelling Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they're just known for defense. So we obviously know that Pittsburgh is the host of the draft. How is it up there? Like is are the people just flocking in, or is it like just slowly growing? How has it been this week?
Well, I've been down there the last 2 days. Tuesday was kind of quiet. Wednesday, yesterday, we had the opening of Market Square. If you're familiar with Pittsburgh, that's in downtown Pittsburgh. They rebuilt it over the last year, and it's right next. I go to Point Park University. It's right next to our school, so it's been cool seeing how it's been rebuilt. And they had live music down there. I mean, the city just feels alive, and the drafts, going through the bridges and seeing the draft stage there on the North Shore next to Acrisure Stadium it's surreal, and it's a once in a lifetime thing. We're never going to see anything like this again in Pittsburgh. And it's so cool for Pittsburgh because we're not a big city, but if you could do it in Green Bay, right, which is probably smaller than Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
then
it
you can
is.
do it anywhere, right? Because people were concerned down here with the traffic, with the amount of people, like how is this going to work? But it seems like it's all coming together, and it's really showcasing how beautiful the sights of the city of Pittsburgh really are.
No, yeah, and then on top of that, it's like you guys have a dedicated fan base. I mean, it's not even in question, and I feel like dedicated fan bases outside of their rivals, they'll welcome them in. Like, I'm pretty sure tonight we're definitely gonna hear the Ravens get booed. That's no question.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna hear the Browns get booed. We're gonna hear the Bengals get booed. That's just the typical three. In terms of what the Steelers should do at 21, what do you think they should do? A lot of people have them going offensive line. I like Blake Miller from Clemson. I'm not too familiar with the offensive line of Pittsburgh. I do know that Troy Fautanu, I believe that's
Troy
how you pronounce it.
Fautanu.
Yep. He is amazing. I like.
Oh,
I met him before.
Yeah.
I met him before. He is an amazing person. I'll definitely say he gave me one of my first biggest subscriptions. So shout out to him. But when you look at the Pittsburgh team in a whole, I don't think their offensive line really needs to upgrade. I mean, you use it, but the biggest question is quarterback. And I don't think they're going to go Todd Simpson. I don't think they're going to go Carson Beck, even though it's crazy how
better
Carson
not.
Beck.
I am not a Carson Beck fan.
It's crazy. Like these rumors about Carson Beck.
Oh my gosh.
Going in the first round have just sparked in today. And it's mainly the Jets. And I can see the Jets doing that. I mean, they need somebody like that, but in terms of hearing it from a Steelers fan's perspective, what do you think they should do at 21? I mean, if Todd Simpson, he's going to be there, so it's like, what should they do?
Yeah, he's gonna be there, but you don't take him at 21. And I like Ty Simpson, but you don't take him in the first round. Yeah. This is just Mendoza is the guy. He's the only guy who you feel pretty confident is going to be a franchise quarterback. Everyone else is a project. And
yeah,
the Steelers, you can't, they learned a hard lesson a few years ago buying into the Kenny Pickett hype when they probably could have drafted him in the second or third round. They drafted him way too early, passed up on a lot of talent, and 2 years later, he's off the team. And so they're not going to make that mistake again. I don't think at all they're going to draft the quarterback. It's going to either be, so you talked about the offensive line. From center, right guard to right tackle, the Steelers are pretty solid. Zach Frazier at center, Troy Fautanu at right tackle, and Mason McCormick, who was a 4th-round pick a couple of years ago, has come into his own at right guard. Left tackle, which is the most important position on the line and is honestly one of the most important positions on any team, is a huge question mark. You have Broderick Jones, who was a 1st-round pick a couple of years ago, hasn't been good at all, and now he's dealing with a neck issue. I honestly think Broderick Jones could be a good offensive lineman in this league, but he does not have the footwork to be a tackle. He should be moving the guard. And the Steelers, but they probably will never do that. But the Steelers also have a hole at left guard. They signed Brock Hoffman from Dallas, who I think is serviceable, but I don't think he's the long-term answer. He's probably more of a backup. Between the two positions, I would go left tackle just because it's more important. And I feel like to get a really good left tackle in this draft, you got to trade up probably for Spencer Fanu from Utah. As my phone rings. I have the NFL draft pick ringtone. But yeah, so I would trade up for a tackle. A lot of people are talking about the kid from Penn State who's a guard, and I'd be fine with that if they stay at 21. But I feel like you can get away with Brock Hoffman for a year at left guard and really try and find your franchise left tackle, because Broderick Jones, it's just not working out. And I know that he was a 1st-round pick, and they don't want to make him out to be a bust, but that is kind of what he is at this point. And I would try moving him to guard because he is so big. Kind of like the guy who was the guy from who was on the Jets and was with the Eagles, and he moved to guard and had a really good year. I think he could be something like that. But
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
but left tackle is a big issue for this team. My thing is, I think they are going to go tackle, but or I think they are going to go offensive line. I don't know whether left tackle or left guard. But my
Yeah.
thing is, I wish they would have spent money on the left side of the line this offseason, because from center to right guard to right tackle, they already spent. That's their young core of the offensive line. They need a veteran on that offensive line.
Yeah.
And I I would have loved for them to spend money on a Trent Williams, even though he's older. But that would have for the next 2 years. He probably has 2 more years left in him. That would have been a good signing.
He was a free agent, right?
He was, but he re-signed with the Niners recently, like this week, I think.
Re-up today.
And so I have a feeling they're going to take a receiver, but it's like I would feel better about taking a receiver had they spent money on the left side of the offensive line.
Yeah,
and
so
there's so much depth at receiver as far as talent.
I mean, Casey Concepcion's going to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about him. I don't think Mekhi Lemon goes past the Rams. I would be shocked. I mean, if you do go wide receiver, probably the best fit for me at Pittsburgh is probably Mekhi Lemon. But like you said, the essential need for Pittsburgh is offensive line. So it's like, I really just want Omar Khan to really just think about this. You don't have to go quarterback. I'm pretty sure he knows that, but like you don't have to reach for offensive linemen. It happens every year. The run on offensive linemen is going to start somewhere, and it's probably going to start with Pittsburgh, trickle down to LA because we know they're taking offensive line. Eagles probably going to take offensive line, and then I don't think the Texans are taking offensive line. They
probably should.
They probably should, because what happened, they probably should, but I mean, unless they trade up, because the rumor was before the last question is that Kansas City was rumored to be trading up this morning, and the projections spiked. I don't know how, that's just crazy. They're talking about Arvell Reese going to Kansas City, and I'm like, that should be the last thing that any team should be letting happen. We can't let that happen.
Kansas City they need to protect Mahomes. So offensive line is the biggest issue. They need to get the who's the number 1 rated tackle? I think it's Francis
Maliano is probably.
They got to get him. The Chiefs have got to do anything they can to get him, I feel like.
But I feel like I do feel like they're going to try to block the Giants from drafting Jordan Tyson at 10. That's why
I love him. I love
Jordan Tyson.
I'd love for him to be a Steeler, man, but there's no way.
I mean, the Giants, we're talking about trading one of their 2 picks. So it's like if he's there at 10 and you got that 21, it's not too far. I'm just worried about what you have to give up. I think that's my thing, because the
Steelers have the capital to do it. They have 3 third-round picks, 2 second-round picks. You can add in picks from next year. Like they have the capital to do it.
And there's a lot of teams willing more this year to trade their first round picks, because 27 is so stacked with receivers. It's going to be stacked with receivers. Of course, Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are probably going to headline it, but it's stacked to the point where you can trade your first round pick, draft from the second round back, and you're good. Like, that's how hype the 2027 draft. That's how much hype it's getting. So, and speaking of like draft, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the movie Draft Day. What is your no matter what moment? You know, like when he said Vontae Mack, no matter what in the movie, who do you think is like that? I have to draft this dude no matter what. I said it was Arizona. They had to take Arvell Reese, but I don't know about you.
I'm hearing Arizona wants to trade back and collect more picks, because like them and the Jets are teams that have no talent, and the Raiders. Well, the Raiders are getting Mendoza, but like those 3 teams, they're in the top 3 for a reason. They have no depth, so they
don't
need
even know why they're trying
the
to
talent they can get, all of the draft capital they can get. So I think it would be actually smart for Arizona to trade back and just get more capital. I would be okay with that, because they're not in a position like the Giants with Harbaugh, right? Like they're in a position, you have the quarterback, you have the running back, you have the left tackle, you have the coach now. Try and get the best player available.
I could see the Giants try to trade with the Cardinals. I could see that happening. To get Arvell Reese. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could genuinely see that, and that would shaft the Cowboys. That would just break their heart.
But like no matter what player, if I'm Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Because Dallas, Jerry Jones he's on the phone. He's on the phones. He's
eager to
gonna
move
try
up.
and
He's
make the
eager.
splash.
Yeah.
They need defense. However, if the kid from Ohio State, the wide receiver from Ohio State is there, you probably have to take him, Cornell Tate, because
that's true.
These receivers at Ohio State, they grow up, they're so fruitful. Like you can't go wrong. And the thing is, they can get draft capital for George Pickens too. Like, do they want to trade George Pickens? That's a big because they want to deal with him on a franchise tag.
I do think Pickens gets traded tonight. I do
think they move up and in exchange for Pickens. Like,
if I'm the Cardinals, I'm taking Pickens. I mean, Pickens is still young. I'm intrigued about that. You got Trey McBride. Then I mean, the whole Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals is probably going to be dead by the time 5 o'clock comes. And then it's pretty much written that Todd Simpson is looking for houses in Arizona. I mean, it's pretty much written. It's just crazy how, if this does happen, like you say, if Arizona does trade, it's gonna be like, man, I would hate to be a Cardinals fan. You missed out on Will Anderson. Now you're gonna miss out on Arvell Reese. It's like, dang,
yeah. But they're just not in a spot where they're like 1 or 2 players away. Like they are in total rebuild mode,
and they should be. But it's just like, dang, like again.
Yeah.
Unless they get Caleb Downs. If they get Caleb Downs, if they trade down,
back and get Caleb Downs, that'd be fantastic.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You can trade Budda Baker. You can trade Budda Baker. I'm good. You can trade Budda Baker. I'm good with that. I think as long as the draft goes according to plan and everything kind of rolls in the way that we think it's going to roll, I think we're good. I do think there's going to be one surprise, and I think it's going to come from an AFC team. I don't know who, but I think if I had to, I'm going to say that. I think there's 1 or 3 teams that could do something that could make a splash. I think the Ravens might move up in the top 10. Nobody's talking about them. I think the Cowboys for the NFC, and then I'm thinking the Jets may trade number 2. Because the whole fall, the whole report of like, yeah, we have everything we need on David Bailey. We have all the reports. He don't need to come back. Nah, man. I don't believe the Jets from here to the stop sign. They will do something so asinine. I promise you. Like it's going to be. I'm just gonna be staring at my TV like, really? You took David Bailey. No offense to him. David Bailey's not Arvell Reese, 1. And 2, if they trade down, at least trade down to get Sonny Styles. At least. If you don't, it's fine. I just feel like Pittsburgh. Y'all gonna be happy tonight. Hope I'm praying for y'all. Okay, I really am.
As long as it's not Ty Simpson at 21, people will cheer.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers draft Ty Simpson,
there's no chance that happens. I truly don't believe that'll happen.
You want to talk about a crowd that will disperse quickly?
Oh.
Like it's like you're gonna have the crowd that boos, but then you're gonna have Pittsburgh fans like this, and then when the name comes across, you're gonna see him walking up.
And you'd feel bad for him. I'd feel awful for him. But the fans aren't booing him; they're booing the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd love if the Steelers, if somehow they could trade up in the second round to grab Ty Simpson. If he were to fall to the second round, I think that's excellent value, especially for a team that has no plan at quarterback. But you just can't reach the Steelers just need to get the best player available.
Yeah.
And if there's a guy on the top of their top of their draft board, and they feel like they can go up and trade and get him, they need to do that because they're not like the Jets or the Cardinals where they have a built like their whole roster has no depth, but there's a lot of holes on this team. There's a lot of holes on this team. So, and it's going to be a new identity with Mike McCarthy, which I'm really excited for.
I'm definitely glad you're excited about that, man. Like I said, this draft should be special. I appreciate you coming on, Peyton. Hopefully your Steelers does something nice, for you guys, and hopefully it's something that you could talk about on the pod. Because if you draft Ty Simpson at 21, I don't think it's going to be a very good introduction to the next episode. I don't
think so.
I think it's going to be a very just.
We're gonna be laughing about it because we've been joking about them taking Ty Simpson, but I feel pretty confident that won't happen.
Hey,
in the first round.
Hopefully it doesn't, man. Hopefully it doesn't. I appreciate you, man. Hopefully the draft goes good tonight. You guys are going to be seeing this in a couple hours. So this is Pirate Payton. Y'all know who I am. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah. They love to shine, hate the grind, love to win. Skip the